a look at multiplying and dividing a polynomial by a constant, so just by a number. So we're going to be using the distributive property that we saw when we were subtracting. So instead of distributing a negative, we're going to be distributing a number. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. So the first example here is 3 multiplied, well, 3 times negative 2m plus 4. So what you're doing actually is you're multiplying 3 times 2m plus 3 times 4. That's what you're doing. Because when you think about it, if you have 3 groups of negative 2m plus 4, it would look something like this. You would have negative 2m plus 4, that's one group, and you have another group, 2m plus 4, and then you have another group, 2m plus 4, and you just group them all together, it would be negative 6m plus 12. So instead of writing all this out, you're just going to use the distributive property, which is just to distribute your 3 evenly to each number. So 3 times negative 2 is 3 times negative 2 is negative 6m, and then 3 times 4 is 12 plus 12. So that's your answer right there. So same idea here. You're going to distribute your negative 2 to each term. So basically, you're doing negative 2 multiplied by negative n squared, n squared, and then you're doing negative 2 multiplied 2n, and then you're doing negative 2 multiplied by negative 1. So a negative and a negative makes a positive, so 2n squared. A negative and a positive, so negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, and then you still have your n, and then negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. So that's for multiplication. You should just distribute your what you're multiplying by to each of the term of the polynomial. Notice that I started with a binomial, my answer is a binomial. I started with a trinomial, my answer is a trinomial. It doesn't change the type. So let's do division, quotient. So quotient is the same idea. You're just going to distribute your division to each one. So here you're going to do 4s squared divided by 4, and then minus 8 divided by 4. And here 4 divided by 4, or how many times does 4 go into 4? It goes in once, but you don't need to write that. It's the same. 1s squared is the same as s squared. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2, so that would be your answer, s squared minus 2. Notice I had a binomial divided by a monomial. It gives me binomial. And here's the same idea. You're just going to distribute your division evenly. So then negative 3m divided by negative 3 plus 15mn divided by negative 3 and negative 21n squared divided by negative 3. So you just do negative 3 divided by negative 3, and that's 1 m squared, but you don't need to write the 1. We just write m squared. And then negative 15 divided by negative 3 is going to be a negative 5mn, and then negative 21 divided by negative 3 is going to be a positive 7n squared. And notice I had a trinomial, it remains a trinomial. Just my coefficients are different. Here's your practice. Make sure you check your work behind the book.